Yeah, so we on the way to get something to eat, and then next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. So I'm like, what's going on? And I thought it was a dream. I go back to sleep, wake up, and I'm still there. So then they tell me what happened. So basically, like we was in the car, and the car failed to yield and hit us, and yeah, that happened right there.
They say the engine was up on you, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I
Yeah.
know the car was.
Oh, you know they got you out of there.
Yeah, I know they got. Yeah, they did have to cut me out.
Yeah.
They had to get us out of there. But
And so, what was your injuries?
yeah, so I had broke my leg, fractured my tibia plateau. So like that's the long bone that run through your leg. Like that's what you need, like to walk. So I fractured that real bad, and I just remember like I'm like, man.
Hold up. So you fracture your leg.
Yeah.
That's what you use. That's what you use.
Yep.
Your speed.
Yeah,
that's your asset. That was your asset. As a little dude, you've been able to outrun everybody. So you was about to go there, but what was your thought? What was your first thought? Not after you gathered yourself, but what was your first thought when that happened? Welcome to the Off the Floor podcast. What is off the floor? Off the floor is a mentality. You're either eating off the floor, which is hunger, or you're getting off the floor, which is a bounce back. We all go through that in life.
Off the floor, baby, with my papa and your host, Calvin Wilson. Peace. Peace, birth Steelers.
Welcome to the Off the Floor podcast. I'm here with my nephew, Winston Wright, Winston Champ Wright Jr. Man, long story, bro. Long story we finna put out here right now.
Yeah.
So let's get started with your football career. Little League. What teams you played with, and who was your coaches?
So started playing football when I was 7. Organized football. I always played in the yard.
Right.
First team I played for Southside Jaguars. Played with them 7 years old. We had a coach. His name was Coach Roger. So he stayed down the street for me. He introduced me to football.
Wow. Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around.
Oh, that's
Talk
what's
to
good.
him. So, he used to take me to go work out and all that. And he coached at Southside Jaguars. Ended up playing for them. When I turned 8, went over to the Ravens. Played. My daddy used to coach. That's when my dad started coaching.
Wow.
With Coach Reggie.
Okay.
And then played for them from I think 8 and under to 12 and under.
So you got to middle school.
Yeah, till I got to middle school.
Okay, from 8 years old to 12, who were some of the guys you played with and against in the city of Savannah?
So I played with a lot of players. Julian Roberts, he played with me. That's my cousin.
Okay.
Played with a lot of names, but they ain't play, in high school or nothing. But
Wow.
Played with
So what you saying is some dudes that didn't even make it to high school to be able to play football.
Yeah.
So dang.
Played with Cal Kennard. He played, Cal Kennard at South Carolina?
Yeah.
The DN?
Yeah.
He played for the Ravens. He played with us.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's what's up. Okay, so from there, was you good? Was you good as a little boy? I mean, cause you ain't never been that big in stature. Was you pretty good though?
Yeah, I was good. Yeah.
Okay, so when you
go like 4 touchdowns a game.
What? So somebody used to pay you every touchdown?
Nah. So after the foot, how we grew up, after you play at Daffin Park. So Daffin Park on Saturdays is
lit. Yeah.
Lit. So after the game, you usually cook out. So like the team, they'll throw a little cookout, eat hamburgers, hot dogs. You still out there playing around.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay, from Little League to middle school, how was the transition to middle school, and where did you go?
So I played football. So my 12 and under year, that's when my first year 12 and under, that was my last year. My daddy was coaching. I got a new job.
Right.
So start playing for the Pooler Packers out there with him. So my mama was driving me every day to Pooler to go to practice. And that's when I had met, like Del Vecchio, my coach, Coach Cooper, who I'm close with.
Good.
Dante, who I played with, Jalen, that went to Calvary. Dontre Wallace, he went to New Hampstead. So that's when I start playing for them. And then just, we hadn't built the bond out there. And And then that was my last year, me staying with my mom. I ended up staying with my daddy that next year and went to West Chatham.
So tell me this, okay, how you get the nickname Champ? 'Cause
Mhm.
I ain't never asked it. How you get the nickname Champ?
Yeah, that's what they say right when I came out the womb. That's what my daddy he was calling me Champ. So
So your daddy gave you
everybody,
that name.
yeah, everybody called me Champ.
Okay. So middle school, were y'all successful in middle school? You had a good team?
Yes.
You was a guy there too?
Yeah, I was everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay.
So I went to West Chatham. We was real good. I think we lost in the Final Four game. We got beat on the bomb. Last play of the game, the
That hurt.
bias. Yeah.
That hurt.
And
That hurt me.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
We lost.
Myers.
We lost in high school by 2 points. Dude missed some free throws. I'm still hurt to this day, man.
Yeah.
That bother you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so we lost that. Basketball, then basketball, played basketball. We was good. We lost in the championship to Overthought. So we got close that year, but we ain't win no chips that year.
All right, from there, from middle school, and picking high schools, how you end up at Memorial Day School?
I would say just me going to middle school. Probably that's when you're in middle school you growing. So just experiencing things, and my daddy felt like it was good. My dad and stepmom felt like it was good to send me to not for me to go to a public school, and go to a private school. So
But why Memorial? Because I'm gonna get into this in Memorial because Memorial is not even a GHSA school. It's a GISA. They call it Giza. I call it GISA. I've been calling it because that's how I pronounce it. But it's Georgia what it is? What
Georgia Independent School Association.
Yeah. So why there? And who was the coach there?
So
was he a big part in why you went there?
Yeah, that was the reason. So my little brother, from my mama, he went to daycare Memorial Day. My little sister from my daddy and stepmom, that she went to Memorial Day school. So I always used to, I knew about the school. I ain't never knew about the school for real. So we had an AAU game, one particular tournament at Memorial Day School, and I used to play for the Thunder, a team called the Thunder. I ended up playing for the Tigers. I shot the game winning shot, like a 3-pointer. And after the game, the Coach Thompson, Coach Mike, he came up to me and was like, he want me to come to the school. But at this time, I'm like, man, I ain't never heard of Memorial. I'm trying to go to Jenkins. That's the school I was supposed to go to. Or I could have went to New Hampstead, staying with my daddy.
Right.
Yeah. After that, I think I got his number, and he'd text me every day from after that, he'd text me every day.
So before you got to Memorial, how was was they program pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I never knew, me growing up, we never knew about Memorial Day
neither.
School.
Me
I
neither.
don't know, but when I met him, he was, sending, they had them won a state championship a couple times.
Dang.
And then, you just go to looking them up.
And how long he had been there? How long?
I think Coach Mike done been over probably. So when we got there, he probably been there probably 10 years before we got there.
I ain't even know
Probably
they
8+ years before we got
I promise you, I had no idea that they even had a school over there.
Yeah, me neither.
But you got over there and you thrive. Your freshman year, how good was you?
Freshman year, I was good. I didn't know how good I was gonna be. We had a good team though. We had a lot of older players on offense. So for me to see the field, I played defense, played corner and safety. Started off over there and led the team in picks freshman year. So and played a little bit of offense.
So tell me this: what was the competition like over there?
Like
how you
team?
felt? No, not the team, because I think y'all team might have been stacked. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is, go ahead.
Yeah, the team. We had a lot of good players. The competition, I'd say, it was all right. I ain't really feel like it was different. I mean, at this time, I ain't really know.
Right.
Like, I'm just out there playing. We play like
especially coming in as a ninth grader, you playing against older guys. You think,
So I ain't really think too much of it, and thought it mattered for real.
Okay, so we gonna fast forward to your sophomore year where we kind of met. You hit me on Twitter and you asked me to watch your film, and I told you, I said, man, I don't know, man. I said this film is far off, and it looked like you playing against a bunch of guys that can't play. You was running all across the field, running touchdowns, and it looked unbelievable to me.
Mhm.
But you took what I said and you redid your film. You redid your film and you sent it back to me, and I was impressed by your film.
Right.
And from that point, it was like me and you started, having a little relationship, and then we got into 7-on-7. We just had started. This is the first year 7-on-7, and I thought I had selected the best of the best in the 9-1-2. We just ain't have a quarterback, but I thought I had the best of the best, and I had a list of all the guys that were on the team. Sam, James, Tyrone, Scott. Name some of them boys.
Jakeem Harris. Jonah. You had Travis.
Travis Blackshear, that is.
You had Jeremy Smith.
We had guys from Savannah all the way down to Camden. We had one guy from Camden that's Logan. What y'all call Logan?
Well, I forgot. Smiley.
So, and he was a sophomore just like y'all was. But we had all those guys, and I invited you out, and I was like, man, why I'm bringing this kid here? You know what I'm saying? And when you got to the camp, you got to the tryout, man, you was the best dude there. And I'm like, Memorial Day School, how this guy here is the best guy there? And I'm not slighting any of the other guys. All I'm saying is, as a sophomore, you were just as good as the upcoming. They were going to be seniors. You were going to be a junior. You were just as good as them. And so that was impressive to me because those other guys were late in the recruiting process and you hadn't even got started. Right. And so how did it feel? And you got respect from all them guys. And I later learned that you played with all them guys. I just thought you were from Pooler and played, at Memorial Day. I ain't know you knew all them guys, but you got the respect of every one of them guys there, and you was a leader there, man. What built up in you like that makes you the guy that you are right now?
I'll say just how I was raised. Just growing up, like I always been different. I feel like just my environment, just being from the inner city kid. Just seeing a lot at a young age, and I always knew I wanted better for my life. And then, like, my work ethic always been this. Like, I always been a type kid, like, you ask my mama, I'm in the yard, we playing 11 on 11, but it's just me outside. So I always been this type dude. And
I'm glad you said that because I think I was watching something. We was watching the game. You remember we watching the game and the girl was shooting free throws.
Right.
And I say, this is what you practice for. This is what we did. This is what we did. I hope great players put pressure on themselves even when nobody else is around. So when those situations come up, it ain't even pressure. It's just we don't practice all that. And so in the 7-on-7 thing, man, we had some good times. We had some real good times. We went off to Atlanta. We down in Florida. We went to a place down in Atlanta. I think we were playing against Cam Newton, and Cam Newton them a tournament down there, and it come up to somebody being. You got an interview, and the rest of the kids came to me. They said, "Man, why is Winston getting an interview?" I said, "Cause he's that guy."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And how did it feel for your first interview from AJC during that time, and nobody knew who you were? And the guy called me, Jeff Santel called me and said, "Hey man, give me a guy that nobody knows." And I gave him you. How did it feel being interviewed at that time?
I would say it just felt like, just part of the process, humble.
No, not then. Not then. You was a little happy then.
Probably was a little happy just because, we from Savannah.
Right.
But like stuff like that don't push me to be what I want to be. Like that, like I say, like interviews or the accolades and stuff, that don't push me. I want to be great just because I want to be great, and that's who I am. So
Right. We had some guys also that were supposed to be a part of that team that came and watched and didn't want to be a part because they thought they were better than us. Do you remember that?
Players on our team.
Yeah, they were supposed to be on our team, but they never played with us. They came and they watched when we was in Atlanta, and they didn't actually participate with our team.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay. I'll remind you of it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great experience, man. Doing all that, and now doing that experience one time, while we were down there, our guys kind of got outrageous, and I ain't know nothing about it. We ain't know nothing about it until we got home, and then they called and said like, "Oh man, y'all guys tore up the rooms and tore up the hotel and all this other stuff." And we like, "No man, ain't no way in the world. Why ain't nobody said anything?" And so when that happened, man, we were upset and everything. And man, I got a DM from you, and like I said, you was probably the youngest one on the team, and we got a DM from you, and you were apologizing. You were saying, this ain't my character. This is not how it's supposed to be done, and I'm supposed to be a leader. And I'm like, man, and then it really touched me, and I want to harp on your daddy, man, because from the first time I met him when we were 7-on-7 practice, this cat asks the most questions. And I love people who ask questions, especially about stuff that I know. And he asked the most questions, and he soaked it up, just like you do. And like you say, your upbringing comes from a lot of people, granddaddy, grandma, all that. But, man, your daddy has been in your corner from the time that I've known y'all. It's been you two, you know what I'm saying? And that letter, man, that was big for me, because for real, then I was like, man, this my guy. This my guy. And what made you write it, though? What made you write that? What made you, out of all the people, nobody else apologized, but you did.
Yeah, I remember my daddy and Q, John's mama, they had called me, and then I was like, at the moment, I mean, yeah, I remember we was playing and we was throwing like water and stuff, but at the time, like we don't know what we doing, we just playing,
right?
But it turned out to be we messed people, messed the stuff up, but I think that's just how my daddy raised me though, just to take accountability, and then I knew it wasn't nobody gonna say nothing. So I mean, I'm a type dude, like I'ma speak out. I ain't scared to speak out. So I just said like, that ain't what we wanted, our image to be and stuff like that. Just speaking for all of us.
Right. And that was the Greedy Boys. Now we went from 7-on-7 to then we started camping. We started camping. I think we went to the MVP camp, the first camp we ever went to down in Valdosta. And immediately, I knew you was the guy, because you got out there and you were stealing reps, and you were going from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball. And I was like, man, this dude here, man. The name of this show is Off the Floor, because you either eating off the floor or you getting up off the floor. And I seen you eat off the floor. I seen you like hungry, and a hungry man will do anything, and that's exactly what you did. And your mindset behind that is amazing to me, because you was the smallest guy out there basically, but these dudes was just letting you jump up in line. Why?
I don't know. I ain't gonna let nobody jump in front of me. I don't know. That's just my mindset. Like, that was our first camp, so I'm like, this really the first thing, like, I'm learning about this as we go. Like, I ain't know nothing about recruiting, no camps, none of that. So, like, I'm thinking, like, you got to make every opportunity count. So, us just going up there, like, I'm trying to maximize my opportunities, show people, like,
and we ain't losing no reps.
Yeah, and then at this moment, like, since a little kid, I've been playing every position. So I'm trying to show people that I can play receiver, running back, corner,
And we got the
everywhere.
we got the cameras on you.
Yeah,
We got
so-
they got the
yeah.
cameras. They brought the
Yeah.
cameras out and say who you got with
Yeah.
you. It's got these two
Yeah.
guys. We had Tank out there. Tank dropped 2 or 3 passes.
Mhm.
I pull him on the side. I said, look here, man, you better straighten up. I'm finna put you on the sideline. Dundee said, you can't talk to that man like that.
Mhm.
I said, we paid for him. You
Yeah.
talk to him any kind of way. That's my son today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we actually done something for him, then he stepped this behind up.
Mhm.
And so, man, you a dog.
Yeah.
No, from that moment on, I knew I know the 7-on-7 stuff, but like individually by yourself, we went from there to the ESPN coastal camps, and man, you did your thing there. Then we said, okay, it's time for college camps. We finna get this rolling. Nobody know Memorial Day. Nobody know you. Nobody know none of that. But FAU, and I think Wright Jr. too was kind of on you a little bit before any of the camps. But we went down to the Mercer, and you came away with how many offers down at Mercer?
I think I left with probably 10 or more.
First time ever at a college camp.
Mhm.
10 or more offers. How you did that? How was that? How you get that done?
Yeah, I just say just working hard, and then in the off season, just working hard. So now I know I got to go to camp and show this, and then not just being. I'm never scared to mess up.
Now my question too, when you had talked to these coaches, like when they were talking to you after, did they ask you where Memorial Day was? Did they know where it was?
Yeah, so I remember when that camp was June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So at Memorial we don't got no spring ball.
No spring.
So that's the reason why another thing, my recruitment was slow because they couldn't come see me practice.
Yep.
So we would just work out. So when the coaches was coming, they was like, "Well, we going to this camp. Are you going?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there."
All right.
And whatnot. So they like, "Yeah, we got to see you in person before we can offer you." And at the time, if you look at my sophomore film, I really was a running back.
Yep.
Because we ran a wing T offense. So ain't nobody know I could run no routes. None of this. They ain't seen me practice. So I got to go down there and put on a show. So when I went down there, shoot, I already know I could run routes. So they just don't know I can run routes. So when I'm doing this, ran my 40. I think I ran 4.4.
Woo! Twice.
Yeah, 4.4.
That was it.
And then when I went to run routes, it was just natural.
That was it. I was down on the field.
And then once that happened, after the camp, it was coaches coming up to me. He offering me, this coach coming, he offering at the same time. So it was just like that. So yeah, I just think that's what me just going to Memorial, it showed people that you could go anywhere and you just gotta work. You just gotta put the work in. So
yeah, you gotta be out. You gotta be out front, and
Yeah.
that's where the credit come in. Like I said, with your parents, as far as getting you there, because this is what most parents, most people think. The high school coach gonna take care of all that. That ain't his job.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but he trying to win. He trying to win the next year and the next year and the next year to keep his job.
Right.
So if he does do that, you need to be, you should be thankful for your coach that do that. But it's really the parents' job to get out here and get something done, man.
Right.
And so, okay, we hit some. I think we went to Florida. We went to some more camps, and then we go down to South Carolina. We go down to South Carolina, and man, I'm talking about me, Dundee, your daddy, and it's some competition down at South Carolina, but you killing them. And so we this one particular guy, he's from Maryland. I don't know what his name is. We got his name then, but you and him, his daddy was talking big talking. We was talking big talk. We gonna bet on our dog. That's what we saw. We putting ours down on our dog. And man, you did something to him down there, and man, the college coaches. You remember that when the college coaches came over there and they thought we were fighting?
Yeah.
When we was actually just having a good time. We was actually having a great time. And man, listen, this is one thing I want to say, man. I appreciate your tenacity each and every time you step on the field. Like everybody ain't got that. Everybody don't have that same tenacity. Now, going on with these camps, we ended up. You said, okay, your name is Winston Champ Wright. Now we take a trip. We take a trip to Virginia. And how we get there?
Private jet. Trace. We had rode with Trace.
Yeah.
You know, that was my first time seeing that flying. Like, that was actually my first time flying.
Oh, that was your first time flying?
I be saying when I went on my official visit, that was my first time, but that was my first time flying, yeah.
Ever?
Mm-hmm.
And you flew private. We walked straight on to the thing and got on the jet and left.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got back, man, my car broke down.
Mm-hmm.
We had to stay to the people's house, and then they take us back. We think we gonna get it done. You sleep in the car for about 4 hours. We stuck. Me and you stuck at the private airplane, and my cousin ended up coming and whatever, but we end up getting back. But from that point on, you were known as what?
Jet.
Jet.
Yeah.
that fit you though, cause how fast you was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you play. We go back to school. You got some traffic going. You got a lot of traffic going, and now you have a big junior year.
Mm-hmm.
How big did y'all win state? Y'all won state. Y'all sophomore.
No, we won state freshman and junior year.
Freshman and junior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so junior year y'all won state.
Yeah, we won state.
So they were coming at you.
Yeah,
they were coming at you, and so we go back down to 7-on-7 season again, and we said, man, we got Winston coming back. We got Winston coming back. We finna be around Winston because all these other dudes gone. So we gonna have to get some more dudes or whatever. And man, Winston Wright dipped. The jet dipped. He leave the greeter boys. And he goes and plays with Cam Newton. But in saying that, Winston Wright picks up the phone again as a grown man, as a kid, but as a grown man, and faces this. This is the stuff that I love. And faces this adversity and calls and say, "Hey, coach, look, man, so and so hit me up. Now the so and so that hit you up is the same so and so that had the two guys that wouldn't play with us because they were better than us at the time. Remember now, look back at what I was saying earlier." That they sat on the sideline and they watched us play and they didn't play with us in Atlanta.
Right.
Same dude called you up, get you to go play with Cam Newton. I ain't mad at that part. I ain't mad at none of it. I'm just upset because I'm like, my dog is gone. This is my dog. Now, I know I can count on this dude here. But you picked up the phone and you said, Coach, look, I'm finna go play with Cam now. You know, da-da-da. I called Dundee. I said, Dundee, man. Cam finna. He's like, what? Man, I said, but he called me. I said, I can't even be mad because he called me. Most kids ain't gonna do that. Most kids is gonna move on. They just gonna go and do their thing. And when they see you, they gonna hide from you and all this other stuff. You called and you faced that. Man, let me tell you something. The apology for the hotel thing, and then that there, man, listen. That's big. That's big for a kid. I'm just telling you, 16, you 16 then, but you were 15 the other time. And you called and did that, man. You my nephew, regardless of what go down. I'm just telling you, because of that kind of stuff, man, you a stand-up guy. And I really appreciate that. Now, when you went to Cam Newton, what was the experience over there? Because I know they had a Cam Newton South team. And then they had Cam Newton 1, Cam Newton 2. Did you ever play with the South team?
Yeah, I think I played for all three of them. I played for the South. So really the experience was, I remember me just going to Memorial. I'm like, when they was like, we want you to play. I'm like, this is an opportunity for me. But, I'm loyal. So that's why, I had to, contact you, tell you,
know that.
What I was doing, and it's just for the experience. So
right,
yeah. So when I had went, they had made a South team, and whole story with that one is, so boom, I still had to go out there and earn respect. So
that's right.
It was like a tournament, like so every tournament we get gear. We was getting gear, and they was like, man, what team get the gear first? So I was like, shit, all of us might as well line it up and play for it. So we played a second team first, beat them, boom. Then we go play the A team.
Yeah,
we beat them. So now we getting to give first, and that's when you kind of getting your respect.
Right.
And they had always wanted me to play for the other team, but I'm like, shoot, my dogs on the South team, I want to be with them.
Right.
So it was some tournaments, I play with them, and then I play with the blue team.
So who coached the South team? Was that Cross? The Cross?
Yeah, Coach Cross. Yep, that's how I met Coach Cross. Yep.
Man, that's awesome.
That's how me and Coach Cross we had met, and he knew I was a dog.
Yeah.
So then some tournaments like the blue team would want me to play for him, and Coach Cross would be like, yeah, but he can't say no because we all the same.
Right.
So I go play for the blue team, but just how I used to do you, like I tell Coach Cross like,
yeah,
I'm a whoop whoop.
Yeah.
And then I think like the last two tournaments, I played with the black team, and yeah, so it was a great experience just meeting, the people in your class, just not from Savannah, but like Atlanta. We had people from like Atlanta, I think Alabama. So you just meeting new people, man, and that was the experience all in all.
And what's good about that is it put the other dudes around you like on notice, like who is this kid? Where he come from?
Right.
And then now we move from that to, I had a relationship with the Rising Senior game, which was at the time was the best game
for the
juniors in the state of Georgia, probably in the nation because they ain't have them nowhere else.
Yeah.
And I had help with the Rising Senior and everything, so I make a call. I tell you, Daddy, I make a call, man. We gonna get in there. Man, I make the call, and them dudes tell me, nah. They said, nah, who is this? They like, he got to come camp. I like, man, I done sent you Stetson Bennett and all this. Nah, we got to come camp. Like, man, we got to go camp. So, all right. So I call y'all up. I say, hey, man, look, we finna go do these dudes. Like they disrespecting me, not just y'all. They disrespecting me. That's how I felt. I felt like it was a disrespect for not, for my judgment of talent. You know what I'm saying? And so when we get down there, it's all smiles and all this other stuff or whatever, and then we get down on the field, and Joe Burns just showed up. Joe Burns is the founder of the Rising Senior game. He just showed up. I call you to the side. I tell you what I tell you to do. You remember what I told you to do?
Nah.
I say, go down here. I say, man, hey, do him up. I say, when you do him up, I say, go down there. I say, see that guy right there? Go down there and shake his hand and give him the ball. You remember that now?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so what you did to him?
I was doing them all camp, but I think I ran like I think it was like a comeback or something like that. And I had them broke him off, made him fall, caught it, and then went down there. He was like, you had a good camp.
Yeah.
We start talking.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, you're going to be invited to the game.
Yeah, he walked down and he tell me, he said, man, you got a dog. You got a dog. I said, man, I told you. You know what I'm saying? And so you get invited to the Rising Senior. And what was that experience like?
Oh, that experience was good just because first I was all this stuff happening, I'm the first from Memorial to do all this stuff, like the experience and stuff. So like me doing all this stuff, people like, yo, like what school you go to? I'm like Memorial, like I'm the first to do everything.
Yes.
When I'm going, like I'm stamping my name, but I'm also like showing them like
your school.
My school, put some respect on my school name. So that really was my mindset. But going to the Rising Senior game, it was good because you was around the best juniors in Georgia. All the top juniors was in Georgia. Then we stayed at Georgia Tech Hotel. Then we had a lot of speakers, past players come talk to us. But they just wasn't talking to us about football, but about life and college, what they expect. And then the practices, like you practicing versus the best in Georgia. So that experience was good all in all.
Shoot, we got about probably how many guys you think in the league right now that played on that Rising Senior?
Yeah, I think that junior team, it's like probably half people in the league or on the way to the league from just my team, because we had Jamie.
Yeah.
We had who we had. We had a lot. We had a lot of people though.
Right, and I want to go back. I want to go back to the Greedy Boys 7-on-7. Like, I got a list of guys, man. Every one of our guys went to college, and I think like 90 gotta be about 93%. All y'all got y'all degrees.
Right.
First time ever, first team ever in South Georgia ever. And we sent everybody to school and everybody got degrees. Man, that's so important to me, man. I think that is really, really big. So at the Rising Senior High, so the experience was good. How was the game?
The game was good. My team ended up losing, but I ended up starting.
You started?
Yeah, I started.
From
made it-
Memorial Day School?
Yep, started and made some plays. But I mean, yeah, my team lost, but it was a good experience over and all though.
Look, we got Darian here with you too today, and we just we asked before we got on here today, how many kids was at Memorial Day School as far as high school? About how many kids you think was at the high school?
No more than 200.
Man,
Yeah,
so
no more than 200.
so you 1 out of 200, which is absolutely
200 probably the max. I'm no more than one, no more than 100 in high school. No, for real. Nah, in high school, my graduation class, it probably was only like 30 of us.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it probably was only like 30 of us. I'm probably 20 of us, for real.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So your odds were like, well, whatever. I'm just saying that is crazy for you to make it as far as you have now. But yeah, that's crazy. So Rising Senior, you start, you get your name out there, you get the name of your school out there, you get the name of your city out there too. I mean, Savannah been known for basketball for a long time, but during this era, Savannah was one of the hardest in the nation at this time. And you were the best of the best. And let's start talking about your recruitment and how many people, who all were coming in to see you.
Man, every school came.
Oh, before that, let's go back. I'm gonna go back to my DMs because I've been looking at my DMs from way back in 16, whenever it was we started. And you was asking about offers, and you like, man, when I'm gonna get an offer? When I'm gonna get an offer? And then I want you to tell these kids how it changes once you get your first 2 or 3 offers, and then you got all these offers. The pressure of not having offers to the pressure of having these offers, and then gotta talk to these people and tell some of these people you don't want to come there.
Yeah, so I think I started asking about offers, what, ninth grade?
Ninth grade.
Ninth grade, yeah. So I'm still young at the time. So, and like I say, I'm new to this. We all new to this. So
Right.
around 10th grade after that season, started getting offers. And then 11th grade, started getting Power 5 offers. And then, had a lot of people. So it was a whole bunch of people rolling through Durant, but they coming at
Name
Memorial.
some of the schools.
Had North Carolina, had Duke, had Iowa State, had West Virginia, had Wake Forest, UCF,
Yeah. Florida Atlantic.
I had Florida Atlantic, yeah, Western Kentucky.
So who did it come down to?
I had Boston College. So at first it came down to this still junior year. And recruitment changed a lot. Like it's just like having a female. Like your feelings change every day. So like I remember at first it was like I remember I had like a top 3. I really just put it out just to put it out. But it was like UCF, West Virginia, and Boston College.
Right.
So like during this time, coaches hit me up like, you still? I'm like, yeah, I'm still. I'm just, I don't, you still learning stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. But I think I end up, what made me change my mind to West Virginia, like the coach, I remember the coach came down and he came to my coach office and he was like, man, send him to camp. So I'm like, man, I ain't going up there. And I think he had and called my daddy. So when I got home to my daddy house, my daddy was like, hey, he like, come sit down. I'm like, what up? He was like, how you feel about West Virginia? I'm like, I ain't trying to go far from home.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, this coach, man, he wants you. Like, I'm not going.
Who was the coach?
Coach Carrier.
Okay.
So that was the receiver coach. And I think my daddy and him, they had end up saying like, I'm gonna come up there in June. So I'm like, all right, I give it a try. And I think, June came. We had them went up there. I think it was me, my daddy, Jeremy, and my other homeboy Jalen, who went to Calvary.
Mm-hmm.
We all went up there. They paid for the hotel. And then when I got up there, it was just different. I'm like, damn, I'm from Savannah. So it was just like a different feel. I knew I could come up here. Like, it was far from home. I ain't got to worry about, no crowd, no getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And it was just an experience. So when I got there, they treated us right. Sam was already there.
Right.
And went to the camp and killed them kids. And yeah, it was West Virginia since then.
Yeah. So getting up to West Virginia and making that decision and going up there, man. I was looking at the wide receiver room that you guys had there. Y'all had a wide receiver room of you, Sam James, Bryson Ford Wheaton, Ali Jennings, Sean Ryan, Caden Prather, and Sam Brown. Now, man, with a wide receiver room like that, you would think y'all guys could beat anybody.
Right.
But they just couldn't find a quarterback that fit the system, to stay in the system and do the right thing. Now, with that being said, your sophomore and your junior season, you were the leading receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You was the leading receiver there.
Right.
How you do that? How you come from Memorial Day School and fight your way through that and get to West Virginia, and in 3 years you become two of those years you were the leading receiver down there.
Oh, yeah. 2 years became the leader, number one receiver. So freshman year.
Right.
Boom there. Nah, it just really was once I see me, I'm a type player, like once I get somewhere, I'm feeling how everything go. And then that year too, everything, like I catch on quick. So
was that the kick return that year, or the kick return was in?
The kick return first ever was freshman year. My first ever time doing it.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, so just really sophomore year, like I knew what to expect, how to work, and how to go on about my business. So coming into that off season, I just put the work in, and then coming in spring, I think we got a new receiver coach, and Jared Parker. He came in and implemented some things that took my game to the next level. And
I'm still thinking about that kick return, because now I'm thinking, was that on a Thursday night?
Yep, we played Baylor Halloween.
Man, I remember it. I can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it now. Your special teams, wide receiver, you led them for 2 years. And what led up to your decision to leave West Virginia?
I just say, like, during that time I was, talking to my daddy like about leaving.
Well, we had a talk.
Yeah, I had some. I remember I had like 3rd, 4th round grade. And then going into the bowl game, I remember an agent texting me like a team say like they'll take you in the top 100. But at this time, I don't know nothing about none of that. Like,
right.
So I tell my daddy like I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So after the game, I'm like, I'm gonna come back, but I'm gonna leave. So we end up flying back, and I end up packing up, and then going to Atlanta for a couple of days. And I still ain't posted yet, but my AD from West Virginia, my coach, they was calling me, and like this when NIL started to become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I done been here 3 years, y'all
give me no money yet.
So,
yeah.
And they was telling me like, yeah, you gonna be the highest paid on the team. But I'm also hearing from other schools like what I could get. So I'm like, man, I'm finna go in the portal.
Right.
And telling my dad like I'm finna, he like go do what you want to do.
Right.
And I did that, and that's what led me to Florida State. Yeah.
What was the thing that like drew you at Florida State?
Like what made me go there?
Yeah, what drew you?
So really I was supposed to go to Kentucky. But the OC left, Liam Cohen, he went to the Rams. So
he's somebody head coach now, right?
Jacksonville, yep.
Ah.
Yeah, so
you hear that, Jaguars, you hear that.
So Florida State was my number 2 school, and Coach Norvell, he was calling my daddy and was like, like we want to talk. And I'm like, I'm still like, man, I don't know, man. And then he like, man, I remember he texted me one time, but I like during my phone was blowing up every day. I used to have to turn it off.
Yeah.
And he texted me like, why you ignoring me? So I'm like, what this man talking about? And that's what really made me want to, talked to him.
Oh, he relentless.
Ended up meeting him, and then went up, going down there for a weekend, seeing the school, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come, and that's what led me to go there.
And so you were vibing down there at Florida State,
Mhm.
and you had some boys down there, ain't it?
Yep.
A couple of them boys from the Rising Scene was down there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was good. And okay, now we finna get into. I want to get into this because like I told you earlier, I have never heard the story of this, but this your off the flow moment right here. One of your off the flow moments right here is. So you went to Florida State. The plan was we had a plan. The plan was to go 1 year and you out of there.
Mhm.
Go get your numbers and get up out of there.
Yep.
But then God had another plan.
Mhm.
You were home. You was home for spring break,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I had just got home. I was at home for like more than 3 days, more than 48 hours.
Yeah, I get a call, man. Tell the people what happened. What happened in this instance?
Yeah, so I get to Florida State, and then we got spring break. Go home. Two of my homeboys, they came and got me. We went back to Savannah. And then we woke up that like next day, in the middle of the day, we was about to go get something to eat. Think we was going to like Longhorn. Me, Derry brother, and then my other homeboy.
I think I had just talked to you. Y'all had just worked out. Y'all had just worked out.
Yeah, so we on the way to get something to eat, and then next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. So I'm like, what's going on? And I thought it was a dream. I go back to sleep, wake up, and I'm still there. So then they tell me what happened. So basically, like we was in the car, and the car failed to yield and hit us, and yeah, that happened right there.
They said the engine was up on you, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I
Yeah.
know the car was.
Oh, you know they got you out of there.
Yeah, I know they got. Yeah, they did have to cut me out.
Yeah.
They had to get us out of there. But
And so what was your injuries?
yeah, so I had broke my leg, fractured my tibia plateau. So like that's the long bone that run through your leg. Like that's what you need, like to walk. So I fractured that real bad, and I just remember like I'm like, man.
Hold up. So you fracture your leg.
Yeah.
That's what you use. That's what you use.
Yep.
That's your speed.
Yeah,
that's your asset. That was your asset. As a little dude, you been able to outrun everybody. So you was about to go there, but what was your thought? What was your thought? What was your first thought? Not after you gathered yourself, but what was your first thought when that happened?
Yeah, my first thought just was, man, I was supposed to be in and out. Like I was supposed to be here just for a year.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, man, I ain't even supposed to be in college. Like, that was my first thought. But then, as me just like, sitting down to myself, like that wasn't my plans, like our plans is when God say so. So that's when I had to give it up to him. And my daddy was like, man, it's time to go back to school. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, because you was at home rehabbing.
Yeah, I was at home.
You was at home rehabbing.
I was at home. And then I never been hurt. So I'm thinking I'm doing something at home, but I really wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah, your daddy called me and he said, "Hey man," he said they doing it here. He said, "But coach don't want him up at Florida State."
Yeah.
He said, "You gonna ride with me?" I said, "You know I'm riding."
Yeah,
I know what I'm saying.
Norvell, he was texting and calling me, but I wasn't answering for nobody. He was like, "Man, I want you to come back. Start." I'm like, "Man, I'm not coming back. It's over with."
You was done?
Yeah. No, I wasn't done.
Yeah, but you ain't want to go back then.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
And then something like, I got to go back and get in and start getting to it. And that's what happened. Went back and start rehabbing.
Yeah, we went back down there, man, and man, they all loved you down there. Now I'm gonna tell you, man, that them dudes who the rehab dudes, what them guys' name?
So my rehab dude, Tyler, he was ahead of me. And Slick, Josh, he was the head of the training room.
Man, they did well. They did a great job with you. And when we came back down there, they were like, man, they told your dad, said, man, your son a soldier, man. He get it done. He said, man, I got some 300-pound dudes. They be crying like a baby. They don't want to they don't want to do their rehab. They don't want to get it right. And man, then we come back a year later, a whole year later, we come back to spring practice. And man, you a different dude. No, your body had done changed.
Right.
Your neck had done got big. And we were like, man, and that team that y'all had, 24, 25, 23.
23. Yeah.
23. Y'all had a team. Y'all had a squad, and I thought that squad could win it all. And I said it when we came to that first practice. I told your dad, I said, if the quarterback doesn't get hurt, them boys can win a national championship. So during that season, now you had two big wide receivers on the outside, you in the slot, but you never saw the ball.
Right.
How that felt?
It really just felt like, I don't know, like that was my first time ever being in the offense like that, you know. And I ain't had noticed it when I was hurt because I was just trying to get back.
Yeah.
But like that was the first time like I ever was in like an offense where we was in big personnel like that. So it was different.
So you went from being the leading receiver for 2 years at West Virginia to coming to Florida State and getting in an accident, then getting there a year later and don't look like they have no plans for you.
Right.
Well, how you get through that? How you get through that?
And I felt like I probably wasn't all the way healthy either. Like, you know. So really I just
That's a big admitment. That's big to admit.
Yeah.
That's big
So
to admit.
I was healthy that I could play, but I wasn't, you know, Winston Wright yet. You know, Winston Wright again.
So that helped make that made the decision easy.
Yeah.
Now we talking about the 2023 Florida State Seminoles. They were undefeated at the time. What game was that? How many games you had unplayed?
I think I played
5.
I think I played 5 games. Yep, I played 5 games.
5 games, and you come in and you tell them how you did that. How you talk.
Nah, so yeah, man. I'm always thinking above. So I'm like, man, I'm really not the same, but I got a plan, and I know, you know, if I stick to my plan, I don't care what nobody say. I got a plan. I know it's gonna work because I know what it's gonna take to work. So I'm like, you know, by year 2, I'm gonna be 100%. So I'm like, do I really want to come back?
And
I could come back, but I'm like, I know we losing a lot. So if I
the next year.
yeah, so if I would have to come back, we gonna be rebuilding.
Yeah.
So I'm already.
So you wanted to jump out ahead of.
I'm already thinking ahead. So I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna just sit out and I'm gonna rehab. I'm gonna continue to get healthy, cause now I'm thinking for the future. So why risk me getting hurt if I don't got no plans to be here
That makes
next
sense.
year? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna sit down. So I didn't call my daddy like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. And he like, go ahead. But even if I was to call and he'd be like, no, I'm still
doing it.
I'm gonna do what make me happy. So, you know, it probably was people like, man, like what he doing? But I'm already knowing like it's bigger than this. So I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna continue to rehab, continue to get up at 5 a.m., go lift with the scrim coach, because the coaches love me. So when I told them, you know, like, and that's the thing, when I told them, you know, man, you know, I'm what I'm gonna do, they was like, man, you think about it and then come back. I'm like, man, I made my decision. So it wasn't I left on bad terms. I left on good terms and they understood. But, you know, at the same time, how it's gonna look to them, you know, is probably, you know, why they mad. But
see, that's good because I go back to the apology, and then I go back to, you know, when you made the call.
Yep.
You a stand-up dude when it comes to that. And so they can't not respect what you're doing because you're not doing it behind their back. You're coming to them as a man.
Right.
But you come to somebody as a man, that's something different.
Right.
And so now you're being recruited all over again. You know, you go into the portal. You gotta wait though. You went in on the 5th, but you gotta wait until December.
Yeah.
And so how many offers was on the table then? Now you are damaged. You know, they kind of worried about if you're healthy or not. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Me going into the portal, I was hearing from, you know, a lot of schools, but at this time I'm like, I know what I want now. So like I ain't finna play this game. I'm finna continue. So like when I got in the portal, I'm like, I can't do nothing till January anyway. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about me making
healthy.
sure whenever I do get to a school, I could come in and compete. So I'm still working out every day, you know, and continue to get my body back. So now I think like December come around, had it where, you know, I was gonna go to UCF. but I felt like I was just making a move too quick. Like I ain't had looked at no offense or none of that. And I remember I called you and you was like, man, think about it.
Yeah.
Cause just of the OC. So I'm like, man, thought about it. So I'm like, man, I end up telling the coach, like, man, they receivers, he had told me like, yo, both our receivers gonna come back, but it's gonna be 3 of y'all. So I'm like, man, 3 of us. That's just like a girl. 3 of us can't share at the same time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
she gonna favor
She gonna pick somebody.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, I called my daddy like, man, I'm gonna push the visit back. And he probably was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna push the visit back. So
Who was at UCF at the time?
the receivers,
Yeah.
Javon Baker.
So they had already made a coaching change with Gus was there.
Yeah, Gus still was there.
Yeah,
I was
Gus
gonna
was
play
there.
with
Because before now, when you was in your first recruitment, Scott Frost was there and he left.
Yeah, he left, went to Nebraska.
That's right. Okay.
So after I pushed the visit back, I was talking to Mississippi State and Baylor heavy. And you know, 2 good schools, but I just wasn't vibing. Like I knew like at the end of the day, I ain't just want to go. I ain't just want to go to a school just to go to a school. I knew I had 1 year to do what I want to do. And I'm thinking like, man, I'm trying to, you know, show that I'm back and do some things. And I already had it in my notes what I want to do this year and what I want to accomplish. So I'm like, nah, I ain't feeling that either. So I told my daddy, he like, man, the coach from Mississippi State called him and wanted to come to Savannah and schedule an official visit. But I'm like, nah. So he probably like, what again? So I'm like, nah, it just don't seem right. So Scott Gasper, man, he was helped out in recruiting at West Virginia, and he was at ECU. He gave me a call, and he had told me, man, like, you know, we want you. So I'm like, man, I don't know if that feel right either. Did my research, and I'm like, man, I think I could go there and do some things.
So they had just got a new OC.
Yeah, so they got a new OC, and I called them back. I think I had graduation like Friday on the 17th, and I called them back and I say, man, if you could make some things happen and put some things in motion, man, I come on a visit this weekend, me and my daddy. So he was like, bet, and like 2 hours later he called me back and was like, man, it's done, everything done, just come see. So I told my daddy like, man, we gonna go up there. So we went up there, man. It was just all business. I ain't want to take no pictures. I ain't want to do nothing. I just want to see the offense, talk to the OC, I ain't even care who the receiver coach is. My grandma could have been a receiver coach.
Right.
Because I know at this point, this is my last year. I know what goes into a game plan.
And how many wide receiver coaches you done had since then?
Wide receiver coaches.
Yeah.
I done had 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my 5th one.
And how many different offenses?
3.
Okay, so you know it's basically the same thing. It's gonna be terminology different, whatever. But I can run all the routes.
Yeah, so I knew, just me knowing football. I mean, I'm a great route runner, and I understand the game. So I know just because you're a good receiver coach, you can't get me the touches I need. So I need to go talk to the OC who calling the plays and the head coach. Because ultimately, the head coach, he gonna okay everything. So
he gonna override it too.
So when I went up there, they taught me the offense. I learned the offense before, like the whole offense we ran this year. I knew in 2 days.
Wow.
They taught it to me in 2 days. So met with the head coach after that, and he was like, "Man, you gonna come here and do this, and that, and that's everything that I wanted." So that scratched the list. Now I just need to see what they had for me that I wanted. That was off the list. Now,
what you mean financially?
Yeah,
because the NIL. We can talk about that.
Yeah, make sure man, I'm financially good, man, and man, I got a house. They end up giving me a 2-bedroom house.
Right.
So I was comfortable.
Right.
So now, all that's out the window. Now I could just play. Now I could breathe and play football.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Once that was off the table, now, man, coach, man, who got number 1, man? Such and such, man. I need that. You got it. So
they took it?
Yeah, so once
No.
that
You ain't had to pay him nothing? You ain't had to do nothing? You just took the man's jersey?
I ain't took it.
Coach them took it?
Yeah, so once that was on the rope, I'm like, man, I'm gonna come here.
Yeah.
So boom, ended up going there. I think I committed, but they end up posting it like the next week.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, man, I'm blocking all the noise. Like, if you wasn't with me, like if you still not with me to this moment, like I'm finna show you. So boom, get there in January. And how I am, I earn respect. Just cause I came and broke Tavon Austin record, I'm still gonna show y'all, I'm the dude. So, came, workouts, man, attack workouts, man, and earned their respect,
Right.
And then went to spring ball. And like I say, man, now I'm 2 years out. I'm back. So I'm doing what I do and had a big spring. Now I'm going into spring. I'm getting these calls from agents like, about the draft grade and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm still not, even though, they saying good things, I'm locked in. So man, end up, having a good summer, good fall camp, staying healthy, and then just going in the season and going crazy.
You were the leading receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
And you were All-American.
Yep.
And what?
All purpose and kick return.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get to the end of the year and you get a little injury too.
Mm-hmm.
Little injury, you know what I'm saying? So they want you to come back and play.
Right.
But they respected your decision.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And then you get invited to the Hula Bowl, which you've been hurt the whole time. You got not to work out, none of that other stuff, and you go out to the Hula Bowl. And how you do out there?
Yeah, so got a little bone bruise, and finished the year out. I missed the North Texas game, and then we had one more game, played that game, and then decided to, sit out the bowl game. They respected it. They had to respect it. So then I go to the Hula Bowl, but if you know what a bone bruise is, it's a deep contusion, so it probably take about 2-3 months for it to really heal. So I go down there and learn the NFL playbook because we got the NFL coaches. Learn that, end up going out there and having a great week. End up starting again.
Right.
And I'm not even fully healthy, so have a good game. Now after the game, I'm like, now it's time to go run fast. Now, I got to get all the way back healthy. So I go back to training. I'm still I get there, still hurting. So I'm like, dang, man, how long this gonna be?
Yeah.
And like 2-3 weeks, that's when I started to feel good.
Can I say something? I'm gonna tell you something about a bone bruise. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know when it get right.
Yeah.
You just be like, I ain't hurting no more.
Yeah.
Like you just going and you like, wait, I had a hip pointer one time, dog. I rolled over on it and jumped straight out the bed.
Yeah, like with the bone bruise, it's like it's a deep contusion
to your bone.
So it's like you can't even.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
But rest.
Yeah.
And I wasn't resting. I just played a whole All-Star game and then go back to train. So now when I get to training, it's about just trusting the process. Like,
Now, how your numbers was first when you got there?
Yeah. So when I got there, I knew, okay, scouts, they want to see me run 4.4. So I knew that's all I had to do. So when I get there, my numbers, like, I think we pre-tested. I tested like around 4.6 because I ain't had no technique.
Yeah.
I ain't ran a 40 since high school, so I get there. I'm just running regular.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. So now I'm like, it's time. Now it's time to lock in, man, and work. But still, I ain't see improvement like until when that was January. Probably like the end of January go by. Now you gotta think I only got a month and then pro day, so I'm still not where I want to be at. I'm still not getting the techniques. So I start the trainer that was training me, Jordan. I start, going to him one-on-one, like, man, I'm not getting what you teaching us. And he start, like it was me and him one-on-one. Like after hours, I come, he teach me the technique, and now I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to pick up on things. So now I'm like, okay. And then I think we go pre-test like in February. I think it was like the second week of February. We pre-tested right before Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So man, I'm like, man, if I don't run 4-4, when I pre-test, man, my girl, man, there ain't nothing going on this weekend. So man, we go pre-test, and I'm just checking all the boxes, like everything. I'm checking. So now it's time to run a 40. So I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. Run 4-4. So I'm like, okay. So I do it again, and I ran it again. So I'm like, okay, I know what it feels like. So now I'm happy. So now when that week, that was February 18th. So February 14th. So after that week, man, I'm just stacking weeks. I'm getting faster. I'm getting stronger. I had then went down there, transformed my body, man, and was eating right. And then now we pre-test again. Now I run 4:45. So I'm like, okay, now I know I know what's going on. So I'm like, everything paid off. So now I tell my agent, so my agent like, okay, yeah, you and good, we do this pro day, you gonna be good.
Yeah.
So now I'm just anxious to go to pro day now. End up going to pro day, and I'm like, I know they sent a text like we gonna run in the grass, we gonna run on in the stadium. So I tell my trainer like, man, we running on grass, and he like, man, like running on grass. If you run 4:43 on grass, that's 4:38
4:38,
on turf. So he like, yeah, man, you got to go down there a week early and fill it out. So now I'm like, man, ain't nobody else had to do this. Well, I gotta go run on grass. So I go down there and just filling it out. And I had my coach test me like twice on the 40. I ran like 4:44 and I ran like 4:48. But it's after a workout after I didn't change sprints and stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I feel I'm good. So then we get the pro day and it's just showtime then.
Hey man, yeah, you showed up. You showed up. Now the process is what we're in right now. We're recording this before the draft, and what's the feeling out there? What's the feeling about you out there? And yeah, tell me what the feeling, what they're telling you right now.
Right. So teams just telling me like, man, they already knew me from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I had a day 2 grade. So now you gotta think, the NFL, they try to get you, as low,
Cheap.
cheap. They try to get you cheap. So, I know I got a day 3 grade on me. I probably could go day 2. Cause we don't know what's gonna happen, man.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
outside of the first round, 2 through 7, you don't know what's gonna happen. So
Right.
just, meeting with teams, telling me the same thing, that I had a great year. And then, the game has changed now. Like it's revolved around somebody like me, slot receiver, return game. So I know they could use me, different ways. So now it's just about wherever team I go to, man, I just hope I go to the right team to, be able to show my skill set and be used.
Yeah, I think we gonna put this out before the draft because now I want you to look into the camera and let these folks know, man. Let these, cause one of these coaches might hear. We may be able to put this out and somebody take a look at them and let them know why they should draft Winston Wright. And Kane, I want you to put that picture up of him around the car as a little boy, and to know how far he's come from that point to this point, and how much grit and toughness and stick to it and believing in God and believing in the vision that you put out for yourself and walking in all the stuff that we just talked about that you believed in, and it's come to pass. Tell these people. Yeah. See, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy we talking about. The little dude right there with them things on him.
Yep.
Look at, they got them things on.
Yeah.
So from that point to this point, man, it's been a tough, hard journey. Even when you was on top, the car accident took you down. Even when your team was undefeated and looked like headed for the national championship, you made the hard decision to get up out of that. And why should an NFL team take the chance on Winston Wright? I know why. My reason why is because you're a stand-up dude. You're not afraid of competition. I ain't worried about if you get drafted. That's cool. If you go as a PFA, that's cool. All I know is whoever's there is gonna have to get it because I know you will.
Right.
And so, and so if you don't make it there, you're gonna make it somewhere. I mean, you're gonna be a pro. I promise you that. But let them know why and what they're gonna get when they get you.
All right. Yeah, I'll just say first, I like you say, man, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of failure because I know what I put in, and I know my work, man. It speak volumes, man. I'm confident in myself.
Okay,
ever
when you
since a
say
little
that,
kid.
when you say some people would take that as you being arrogant.
Oh nah.
But they will. Some people would take
Yeah,
that as you being
yeah,
arrogant.
yeah,
But
yeah.
let them know when you have prepared and you have done everything you supposed to do. It's in God's hand after that.
Yeah, it's in God's hand. It always been in God's hand, man. Ever since I've been a little kid, staying on Thomas Avenue, man, and eating hamburger helper every night and manwich every night, man, and people when the air not on, man, I gotta go stand in front of the stove, man, and for real, man,
Yeah.
that's really what molded me, and I told myself, man, like I'm gonna make it to the league, man. And
You told me something the other day. You said, man, that's what's wrong with us, man. Like when a kid is going off to the left, but he's talented.
yeah,
We don't gather around them. We gotta gather around these kids that's going to the left or to the right, and just hold them in the road. But we seem to sit back as a people and let people just go. You told me that the other night.
We just was talking. That's crazy though. We just was talking about that. Me, Derry, my daddy and stepmama, man. Just talking about, man, like my stepmama told me something like, man, like your past, like I come from nothing, and I come from a story, man, and I ain't grew up in the best environment, but I'm I don't have to. I don't have to be a product of that.
You don't
You know
have
what
to
I'm
end
saying?
up.
Like, so I always told myself, what I see these like people doing, I'm never gonna do. I'm gonna be different. So that's what molded me to have this drive, and just me having God putting a father like mine in my life, man.
No doubt.
That's there because a lot of people I played with or grew up with, my next door neighbor, they ain't have that. So they ain't have that escape what I had. Like I could go every other weekend to my daddy house and see something other than where I come from. So I always told myself, man, like I just always been different. So me just going to my daddy like, man, I want to move in with you, and him and his wife taking me in. My stepmom, which I'm close with, they taking me in and molding me into who I am. That's different. A lot like you just said, you don't got to be a product like us just as people. When you got that talent, even though they come from, they might not come from the best situation, they ain't gotta do all that stuff. Like that's why Derry my best friend, cause we understand each other. We both come from bad situations, but we far from that. We want to be businessmen in our profession, and I feel like, man, the team should draft me just because I mean business. Like everything I do is business.
Say that again. You what now?
I'm business, man. I'm a businessman, man. I mean business. I'ma handle my business. I know how to, go about my business. And I love the game, even when they don't love me back. Like,
You know what the problem with people, when you hear people tell other people, and I know you heard this all your life from people who ain't, they'll say, stay out my business. But the person who's saying stay out my business ain't doing nothing. Business is busyness. And you gotta be busy doing something to have business. And most of the people that say stay out the business, they ain't got nothing going for themselves. And so you want to be a businessman.
Yeah.
You gonna handle it.
Yeah. So yeah. So me just going about my business, I know how to go about my business, and I just know how to my coaches, like if you talk to them, they're gonna say, yeah, man, he know how to be a pro.
I was about to say, how long you been a professional? What we talked about, even when you was in high school, if you want to be a professional, you got to be a professional when?
You got to be a professional before you be a professional. Yeah, so like if you talk to my coaches, man, they gonna tell you like, man, he a pro. I know how to watch film, and I'm a leader. I always been a leader. That just come back from me being small. Like I could have then ended up how some of my old homeboys is now. But I'm a leader, man. I ain't a product of my environment. But that just go to show like the kids, like I always like try to motivate. Like even though I came from a bad situation, like I be trying to show people like, you know, you can do better things. Like my cousins used to say all the time, like I used to go on my mama's side, like, yeah, you always act like you better, you act like you ain't from the hood. But it's like I just cause what y'all doing, I ain't gotta do, you see what I'm saying? So it's like I try to show people like that's why I play the way I play. Cause it's like before the games, like I'm in the locker room, like, and reason why I'm not afraid to mess up, cause I already come from nothing. So it's like ain't nobody gave me nothing. So it ain't,
if I ain't got it,
even if it don't work out, I already won because I come from nothing anyway. So that's why I'm not afraid to mess up. I'm not afraid to jump in front of the line and do this and that. So like that's why I play the game how I play the game.
I could remember it's two kids. It's two kids. You and DJ Dallas. You and DJ Dallas are the only two kids that I know that did exactly what I told you to do. Like it ain't fail. When I told you two guys, I said, look, man, have that film up before Saturday. Before y'all did anything, you had your film redone every Friday night. You had your film redone. And DJ, I'm gonna give DJ this. He the OG. He the OG in the 912 in this era right here as far as the football. Because when we were doing 7-on-7, we were doing anything, he was the guy that I called and had him talk to you guys. Now guess what? You that guy now.
Yep.
You that guy now. You the guy that they on your back. You can carry him. I know you can carry him. I don't have no problem. I stamp you right now, dog. You will be a professional. You will play in the NFL. I promise you will, because I know what's in you. I've seen you from there to there. Like from 100 students to right now, I've seen you been doubted at every step of the way.
Students.
Right, but at every step, dog, that we've been doing this recruiting, we've been doing this college thing. It's always been a doubter, and you've always proved them wrong. And I don't see why not now.
Yep.
And if any team is listening, and if any team is looking right now, you got a dog.
And another thing, I got in my bio, underdogs turn into them legends, just because, like you say, everywhere I went, I made a name not because nobody gave it to me. I had to create one.
Had to take it.
From Little League to me going to high school, me going to the school nobody know. My jerseys, basketball and football retired.
When your birthday?
June 9th, 2001.
So you graduated when you was 17?
Yep.
So you younger than everybody.
Yeah, so I'm younger than that. That's another thing. Like, when I was, all my homeboys and friends and people I played with, I always could have played
down.
I always could have played down.
Like 2 years.
I always played up and played. So when I went to high school, I'm the youngest, but my jerseys retired at my high school. Then
basketball and football.
Basketball and football.
Track. What you did in track?
One state. 1 year running.
That's
so
what I'm talking about.
Then I go to West Virginia. I break Tavon Austin record. My jersey, before I entered the transfer portal, like you walking in the facility, my picture was up on the wall. So then go to East Carolina and be an All-American and make an impact. So it's like everywhere I go, I make an impact, and I earn it. So
I just hope we finna end this podcast, but this is what I hope, that I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm in the movie. And man, I enjoyed you, nephew.
Yes, sir.
Look, man, we family. We family for life.
Yes, sir.
Love you, boy.
All right.
For sure.